Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have a Xbox One model 1540. Is a classic version, and this client brought it in because they never cleaned it up since they purchased it. And in this video I'm gonna show you step by step how you can open it up and how you can clean it, and what happens if you don't clean it after a while. And so you can have a little idea what happens if you don't clean yours once a year, or at least once every year and a half. All right, so and I'm going to go over the tools that you need to do this service, and I'm going to take you all the way down to how to clean the fan system and the whole motherboard. And we are going to continue a little further, and we're going to go to repasting, changing the thermal paste, because I'm very sure that thermal paste that is in this heatsink is dried up and is not going to cool down or transfer the heat nicely over the heatsink. So we are going to repaste, and you should do it too. But if you guys are really scared to go down further to repaste, you can follow the video up to the wherever you reach that, wherever you can reach to clean it up. All right, with all this on hand, let's get it started. First thing first, your console tool. I'll be using an UFIXTEK screwdriver set. These are one of the best screwdrivers out there. If you get the Pro set, they will include you with an opening tool, some tweezers. If not, get the basic set. And these tools are made out of S2 class steel. They're really tough in steel, so we're going to keep this one. We need an alcohol, isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol. It's very important, 95 or 99% plus I would recommend. A workshop towel, one sheet or a couple of sheets of the workshop towels. These workshop towels are really good to have, because as soon as you put alcohol on top of these ones and you want to clean the motherboard or the CPU or GPU, the towel will rip apart and it will not damage the components around it. But if you use the microfiber towels, they can get tangled between the components and they can rip the components apart. All right, with these two on hand, we're going to need a thermal paste. I'll be using UFIXTEK MX4. These are really good for consoles. For these models, you can go crazy with Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut, which are on top of the line. But for this one, that's fine. You need a spatula, a metallic spatula or something like this that has a pointy and tough to bend. With this on hand, a curved tweezers, it's a good thing to have. And a toothbrush, a new or used toothbrush to clean up the fan system. Also, I recommend you to grab a screwdriver and shave off the bed and just make it really pointy like that, and make it really tough. We're going to use this to remove the X clamp. All right. With all this on hand, we're going to get it started. First thing first, we want to remove the side cover where the DVD drive is, the side on this side. We're going to remove this one. To remove this one, what you want to do, you want to put the spatula right in between them, and we're going to lift it up like that a little bit. Just do once every 2 centimeters that way, and do the back side too. There you go. Now you can lift it up, evenly bring it up. You can take it outside and wash it and clean it with a toothbrush. And right away, look at that dust build up in there. Look at all this dust. So how you wonder why your console is overheating, it sounds like a jet engine, it's because it's clogged up. Next, we want to slide this plastic cover towards the back side and remove it. Next, in here, this part in here, what you want to do, you want to push this small portion with your thumb down while pulling this side, this portion with your thumb up. So one goes down, one goes up, like that, and then you want to pull them apart. Once you get this gap opened, you want to keep it open, and you want to flip it like this while I'm holding it so it doesn't go down. You can put a screwdriver right in there so it doesn't close, like that. Now, obviously, you have to rip this tape before you push up and down, so remove the warranty label. Now, we want to stick this one underneath here, and we want to work ourselves right in the corner here. you want to hit that big click sound. And we're going to do one more somewhere over here. Just work yourself through. While I'm pulling this cover back, I have the camera in my face, I can't see. So there's one clip right there. Another one is right over the USB, right over here, comes right in there. You have to squeeze it right in there, right there. So pretty much follow the line right where the USB finishes. You want to hit this plastic right in here. So this plastic hinge and this hinge. There's one more hinge all the way to the other side. There you go. Once you hit these two hinges, now you can lift up the power like this, but make sure you don't lift it up too much. So what you want to do, you want to bring it up a little bit. And then once you hit the front is loosen up, now you don't want to lift it up with the flex cable. You want to go this way. Now you want to bring it gently, very gently bring it until you see this connector. What do you want to do with this connector? You want to lift up this blue tape, blue plastic over, and then you want to open up the gap for the lock. There. And now you can slide back this flex cable. See lots of dust falling out. Now you can lift up this cover, flip it upside down, and there we have it. The front panel. To detach the front panel, you need to detach this. If you want to put it back together, it's much easier. So I'm going to tell you right now how to do it. You want to pull this cover back with a tension right now and lift up these hinges while you're keeping that tension on the plastic. Okay? So lift up these ones while you're keeping the tension. And that way you can remove the front panel. Take it with a toothbrush. Do not wash this one. Just use a toothbrush. But you can wash this top cover, which is plastic, and leave it for dry. All right. Now I can see there's some insect stuff in here. We're gonna detach the front Wi-Fi antenna or receiver. Just pull it towards yourself. The speaker, just wiggle it around and it will come out. Just grab it from the side and pull. All right. Now you can lift up the whole. We're gonna remove this screws right in here. This big, long screws on top. It is a torque number 9, I believe, or 10 is not. This is 10. Oh, torque number 10 actually. Torque screw number 10. We're gonna remove these screws. Also, if you guys like my videos, if you find my videos helpful and helping you guys out, you can support the channel by clicking the like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos, take requests, and answer your questions in a comment area. We're not going to remove these 3 screws in here, only 2 screws on top of the board. All right, up to now, I removed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. There should be 8 of them, but there's one hidden right under the board. So remove this screw 2. This is torque number 9. The 2 screws right over this board. These are tiny screws. Okay. Switch back to torque number 10. Lift this board evenly, wiggle around. Make sure it comes up evenly. There you go. Now we're going to remove that single torque number 10, which is the same long one. Now we can grab the top cover here and we can move it, shift it over, and you're going to see this connector down here. We're going to pull this connector upward. Just grab the cable. Don't worry about it. Just pull it up. And there we have it. And you can see it is clogged up, lots of dust built up in there. So we're gonna take it outside and clean it up nicely. And down here we can see the whole inside, how dirty it is all clogged up. The heatsink, the hard drive, it is all dirty. The fan system, even the exhaust on this side, the intake on the other side, we can lift up from the whole thing up from the bottom casing. Look at this bottom casing. You saw this side. Now look at the other side. So you expect ventilation through here, all clogged up. All right, first thing first, we want to remove the hard drive. So pull this SATA cables straight upward, both of them. Remove the hard drive. Clean this one with a workshop towel outside with a toothbrush. Don't drop it. This is very important. Do not drop this. It's delicate. We want to remove the DVD drive. Unplug the SATA connector, pull it up, the power connector, and lift up the DVD drive. We are going to clean up too. Look how clean it is on the bottom. Look how dirty it is on top. All right. Now, first, I'm going to remove these 3 screws. If you want to just clean up the fan system, you can just lift up this and do it with toothbrush. If you want to continue more, we're going to continue to clean up the thermal paste. Okay, if you want to blow some dry air here, don't use canned air. That's really bad for the console, for any electronic. Even they're advertised for electronics. Do not use them. They throw humidity and is not healthy for the motherboard. Use a compressed air. With 110 voltage they work, and it's unlimited air, powerful and dry. I'll leave the good compressed air in the video description so you can purchase yours. So if you want to use compressed air, make sure you disconnect the cable for the fan before you blow some air here. So if you don't disconnect this one, you blow lots of air and it rotates extra RPM rounds, it will give voltage back to the motherboard. So to prevent damaging the motherboard, disconnect it and then use the air blower and clean it up. And I'm just going to take it outside, blow some air. We use toothbrush to clean the excess of the dust, whatever I get from here, bottom, top. And I'll be back and we can continue to clean up the thermal paste. So up to now, it's up to your liking. Take it outside and clean it up, and I'll be back. All right, now that I took it outside and I cleaned it up, look at the difference. Just with a toothbrush and compressed air, I pretty much cleaned up pretty good. But again, if you want to do a really good job, I don't see any need to wash it. But if you do want it, do it as your own paste and nicely wash it. Leave it dry overnight, the plastics, and you'll be fine. Now we're gonna go head toward the heatsink and remove it and to do some repasting. To do that service, we need to remove the bottom cover, put it to one side, and we are gonna work in here. First, we're gonna remove the front panel, which is a torque number 9, or it was 9, yeah. Torque number 9, we're gonna remove the 3 screws on the front panel. To remove it, it is very important to follow the steps, as you could damage the board if you do not follow the steps. Okay, once you remove the 3 screws, you want to grab it from here. You do not want to yank it up from here, otherwise you're going to break the board. Grab it from this part right in here and pull it up right in here, because the contact is right over here. There's no contact here. So if you pull it from here, you're going to bend and crack it. All right, once we remove that one in, now we are going to work on this bottom side. We're going to remove 4 screws in here and 2 screws on this side and 2 screws all the way for the power jack. These are torque number 10. So remove these 4 chrome screws, 2 on each corner. To remove those, switch back again to torque number 9 and remove the 4 screws on the heatsink clamp. These screws are the same screws as the front panel, so don't worry about mismatching them. Make sure always use the right screw bit, otherwise you're going to damage the screw heads, and then you're going to be in a big trouble trying to remove them. Right, once we remove this one, then we're going to flip it back again to normal state. You want to remove this riser right in here. It has only one screw on this side. I forgot about this one. So remove this torque number 9 on a white riser right there. And then just lift up, the thing will come out entirely. Now we're going to remove the front end riser. We just want to pinch them together, these clips, and pretty much the whole thing will come out. There's one in the corner too. Pinch this one too. Now we're going to remove the motherboard by pulling this cover a little bit, just 1 millimeter forward, and lift it up, pull this side so you can release this one. Lift it up, bring it up. Maybe, did I forget a screw there? No. So pretty much lift it up, bring it, and pull it towards yourself. There's a tiny hook on the bottom here. This hook right in here is a plastic hook. Tiny one right in between there. You want to push that one. That's this hook right here. You want to push it so you can release it. This is not oxidization. This is from the factory, so don't worry about it. So we're going to put the bottom case on to a side. Now we're going to put it down like this. And we're going to remove this X clamp with the tools that I told you. There's that a special tool to remove this one. I'll leave the link in the video description, but you don't need to purchase. As long as you get this one, you're fine. So what you want to do here, you want to stick this tool right at the end of this right there. And what you want to do, you want to poke it inside, and you just want to make a little jack and wiggle around, and you can release this part and it will come separated. Once you do this side, you want to do the opposite side. Do the same thing, pull it, and then wiggle around, and it becomes loose. Now we got to work the other side. We're sticking all the way to the back end, and bring it up and unhook. It just pretty much hooks that goes right on the side of the risers. Now we're going to lift up the motherboard, and there we have the old thermal paste. It is dried up like a concrete, so this thermal paste, it's gone. There's nothing left in here. It just crumbs. So that's why it sounds like a jet engine. So if you can see only there's a dried up part right there. There's no thermal paste left. So we're gonna clean up the whole thing. For doing this, I recommend you grab some wood or plastic pick. So what you want to do, you want to put some alcohol on top of the CPU and gently leave it there to soak in, or just poke around it gently. Don't do it with force. Just let the alcohol do the job. And clean around it a little bit. You can leave the alcohol for 5 minutes and just spray some more. Once you break down the big chunks, and now we're going to clean up the rest. Do the same thing in here. Over the crystal die, just let the alcohol do the job. Grab one sheet of the workshop towel, a corner, a piece, and I'm going to spray right on top. Then I'm going to wipe over and remove as much as I can. You can use that toothbrush to also clean it out. Right. Now that we clean it up, I'm going to do a wipe with a clean part of the towel. And there we have it. Now you can see it's nice and clean. You can spray some more. I can see some kind of stuck in a corner. All you care about is the crystal die that is clean. That's all you care about. You don't worry about surrounding the CPU. So there we have it, nice and clean. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the heatsink. First, wipe the excess of the thermal paste. Now we can see that there's a oxidization on top of the heatsink in here. Even we clean it really nicely, there's still some oxidization. We're gonna clean that with a copper or with a silver cleaning solution. So you wanna grab yourself a silver cleaning solution or copper cleaning solution. And I have a liquid. You can get the paste format or whatever format that you can find. And this smells horrible. I'm gonna dip one. And watch this. As soon as I go over, you can see what it's reflecting right there. So you see, with a copper cleaning solution, now it's cleaning up the whole CPU, bringing up the true copper, so there's no extra layers of the oxidization on top of the copper. So you get the maximum contact between the heatsink and the CPU. Okay, once you clean it up, you want to do a second clean it up with a dry part. Now you can see that beautiful copper exposed right there. So what you want to do in here, you want to grab the motherboard. You want to put the thermal paste on top. I'm doing one line in the middle. That's more than enough. And you want to bring the fan connector towards the fan here, the fan cable towards the fan connector. But what I really like to do here, put the heatsink like this, in this position facing the cable towards me, the contact facing towards me. I'll bring it like this, and I make sure I see the screw holes right there, and I'll bring it down, and I hold it right in here, not from here, there's nothing. I'll hold it right in here, and I'll grab the X clamp. I don't want to let go or lift it up so I don't create any air bubbles. So what I do, I'm going to hook this right in there. I'm going to bring it, first I want to make sure that it's straight over this screw. If not over there, I'm going to damage these capacitors in the middle. So you have to make sure the hooks are straight over this screw hole. Then you want to push it down, you want to hit that click sound. Same thing in here and right there. You can push really hard on this ones with no problem. Even my table is shaking right now. Alright, so now you see it's in place. Now we can go ahead and connect the fan cable right there. We're gonna bring back up the bottom plate. We're gonna put the I/O side down right in the corner. Make sure it goes all the way in. Bring it down, sit it down. In here, you wanna work it around. Make sure that tiny plastic pin under here goes in place, so it's sitting down flush right in here. And that pin is exposed right in here. All right, once we have it down powered, now we're gonna put it down like this, and we're gonna put the 4 screws for the heatsink. So, and make sure you always cross screw them, always. Almost done. You see, this is very important to do your thermal paste replacement once every year and a half, depending how often you use your console. It is really important. If you don't want to repaste every year, at least open it up and clean up the dust so it doesn't sound like a jet engine or it doesn't overheat the CPU, so it doesn't get random shutdowns. Once you put these 4 screws, we're going to switch back and we're going to put the 4 screws, 2 on the corner and 2 on the corner by the power jack connector. We're going to switch back to a torque number 9. We're going to put the white riser on the side, on the back corner, right in here. 2 pins goes there. And tiny plastic screw has to go over. So hold it. and screw it in place. You're gonna put the front panel, grab the front panel, put the jack, this jack in, it's like a USB connector, and put the 3 screws right for this panel. You don't need to tighten it up really hard, just reach it and little tiny push, and that's it. Alright, once you put that one in, you're gonna put the front risers in here, stick them right in the hole, and squeeze the clips and make sure it's holding it there. There we go. Once we have that one in there, you want to grab the bottom cover, bottom tray. You want to put the bottom tray in here. Okay. Once we have this one in here, now we're going to grab the hard drive. Make sure the fan cable is connected. Put the hard drive in the back. It has to sit. This is tiny pin. Has to go through this hole so it doesn't wiggle around. Make sure it's very important that sits right there. Connect the SATA connector and the power jack right in there. Grab the DVD drive that you cleaned up. Again, bring it straight in. Make sure it sits. The back corner, this pin has to go, this pin right in here has to go right through here. And there we go. Now it's sitting nicely. Connect the power connector. Push it in. Only goes in one way. The SATA connector. Push it in. And we are almost done there. So we can put the metal cover on top. Before we put it on, we want to bring it in an offset position. I clean it up, but it's still kind of dusty. You can do a second pass with a... I'll put some degrease here. I'm going to clean it up nicely here a little bit. There we go. So what you want to do, you want to bring it in an offset position. So you want to connect this one right through the jack. So just grabbing this connector is straight, and I'm pushing it towards the jack. So it's kind of hard for you guys to see. Once it's in there, I'll bring this one, align it right on top, and set it down. Make sure it's nice in place. Put one of the screws, which is a torque number 10, the long screws on this riser, and tighten it up. There we go. Now we can bring the Wi-Fi connector, put it on top, and push down the connector. Switch back again to torque number 9. Put the 2 tiny screws on top of the board so it keeps it in place. This is a Wi-Fi connector, so it cannot be inside, otherwise the metal will isolate the signal. We're gonna switch back to torque number 10. Before we do anything, we're just gonna push down this connector jack straight towards. You just push, snap it in. Grab the speaker cable, put it right there. What I don't like about this cable, it just hangs around, so I'll just pass it through under here. It makes it a little better. So it's now moving around. Then I'll put it on top inside the jack. There we go. Now it just sits there nicely. Now we're gonna go ahead and put these long screws, 7 of them. They have a little C5 with they are signed with a number and letter. C7. Put it right there. This one is not, this one is. So that's what I'm saying. See, you put it here, you don't put anything there. So I'm going to tighten up all these screws. What we want to do in here is to put this cover on, but before we put this one on, we are going to put the top cover. So it's easier. So you want to bring this top cover, align it straight over on the back end. And then you want to push down, make sure once it's aligned, you push it down straight. Now you're going to put this front cover. So what do you want to do in here? Align it the way it's supposed to be. Grab this flex cable. Don't tense or break this cable. It's fragile. Make sure this lock is pushed back all the way. like 1 millimeter. Don't exaggerate. Okay. Now we're gonna slide this connector right underneath, like that. And we're gonna push the lock back and put this necklace right over. Now what do you wanna do here? We wanna bring it up and bring it up. I'm gonna scoop this bottom side in a 45-degree angle, right there in a 45-degree angle. Once it's in a 45-degree angle, the bottom, the top part, I'm just gonna push it right under the plate and I'm gonna press it down. And it goes into its place. And the last thing down here would be to put this side plastic, slide it just like a drawer, slide it right in there. Grab this top cover, if you clean it up, and just push it on top, just press it down. And that's it. And this is how you clean and service your Xbox One Classic Model 1540 console. If you have any question or request, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video.